Admiral Thalkash stood rigidly before the towering holoconference dais, its violet glow painting his obsidian armor with ripples of light. Around him, the vaulted chamber of the Vorten High Command thrummed with barely contained excitement. Centuries of conquest clustered behind him, worlds subjugated, civilizations catalogued, rebel fleets crushed in warp storms of his own making, but none had ever dared challenge Earth. Thalkash's 6 eyes flicked upward to the councils. Triarch, a serpentine figure draped in ceremonial robes of shimmering cobalt. The Triarch's voice was low, but carried throughout the chamber. "Admiral, your fleet awaits your orders. The High Council has decreed you will probe this Earth system. You will discover why it remains unscathed, why even the outer Rim Raiders whisper its name in reverent fear." A hush fell. The assembled generals and xenoscientists exchanged speculative looks. Across the galaxy, no starport bore the telltale scorch marks of a failed invasion. No intelligence network held a scrap of data on Earth's hidden defenses. On paper, Earth was a third-tier backwater, a prehistoric relic ill-equipped for spaceborne assault. Yet its aura of invincibility had grown into legend, a cautionary tale for would-be marauders. Thalkash's heart, conditioned by centuries of stoic discipline, thudded in his chest. He inclined his head. "It shall be so, Triarch. Varan, I will unveil Earth's secret for the glory of the hegemony." Gathering the vanguard within the hour, the flagship Dauntless Resolution loomed above Vorten, Prime's orbital dock, a sleek vessel bristling with photon lance arrays and quantum cloaking coils. Thalkash moved through the corridors like a shadow, flanked by his personal staff, Lieutenant Orcs, master tactician and tactical AI liaison. Sarah Voln, the young exoanthropologist whose unconventional theories on interspecies empathy had earned her a place on this mission. And Magister Hachital, the hegemony's foremost technomancer, whose ability to channel the quantum flux into predictive algorithms bordered on the mystical dot in the command atrium. The crew's hushed anticipation was palpable. Engineers monitored hyperdrive calibrations. Weapons officers loaded antimatter torpedoes. Xenolinguists tested signal decoders against Earth's many broadcast bands. Above the CUM station, a spinning holodisplay projected the Milky Way, highlighting a single solar system at the galaxy's rim. Sol Saravon, feeling the hum of the ship's neural mesh beneath her fingertips, approached Thalkash. "Admiral," she said softly, "reports suggest Earth's electromagnetic signature fluctuates with unexpected irregularity. It's as if the planet itself is alive, responding to every probe we send." Thalkash regarded her through narrowed eyes. "This is why you're here, Doctor. Be ready to brief the Council when we reach orbit. We cannot afford to underestimate whatever defends that world." Through the veil moments later, the Dauntless Resolution engaged its subspace drives. Stars stretched into ivory lines, then fractured into ribbons of light as they pierced the veil of standard space. Navigation officers held their breath. Subspace instability could tear a ship apart if not perfectly tuned. But the Resolution's engineering was flawless. 10 minutes in real space later, the ship emerged from the FTL corridor. Through the forward viewport shimmered Sol's golden orb, its companion planets arrayed like jeweled sentinels. Earth glowed with the soft blue-green hue of oceans and vegetation. No artificial satellites blinked around it. No orbiting habitats marred its silhouette. The silence was ominous. "Long-range scans are positive," Orcs reported. "No visible defense grid, no energy signatures beyond natural except..." He paused as the sensors hissed. "Interference. A broad-spectrum suppression field, centered on Earth. It's attenuating our active scans by 92%. A ripple of astonishment passed through the bridge. Magister Hat's fingers danced in the air, tracing fractal runes of latent power. "This suppression is too uniform to be technological. It feels biological, like the echo of a vast organism masking our presence. Thalkesh's spine stiffened. Prepare the reconnaissance skimmers. We will make visual contact. Deploy. At my command. Descend into mystery below. Earth's atmosphere greeted them with a veil of cerulean clouds and swirling storms. The skimmers cut through the sky, their hulls glowing with re-entry heat. The target was a region of unspoiled wilderness, Earth's great. Plains chosen for its low human density and minimal chance of interference. As the skimmers broke through the clouds, the vast expanse of amber grasses and distant mountain ranges stretched below like a living tapestry. Dr. Voln felt her pulse quicken. Every instinct in her exoanthropological training told her that this was the calm before a revelation. Visual sensors recording. Eric's voice crackled through the comlink. No structures, no vehicles, no signs of human activity for miles. Yet the silence was not sterile. It pulsed with life. The rhythmic rustle of grasses, the distant caw of birds of prey, the gentle murmur of wind across the plains. It was as though Earth was breathing. Thalkesh stood at the prow of his skimmer, eyes narrowed. Remember your orders. Observe, catalog, and report. We come in peace, yet we must be prepared for any hostilities. Sira Volm activated her environmental scanner. Her console flickered. Admiral, there are fluctuations in local wildlife behavior. Coordinated movement patterns I've never seen. Predators and prey maintaining strict formations, almost guarding something. Thalkesh. Grip tightened on the control yoke as the skimmer touched down. The tall grasses swayed around their craft, but the air held an undercurrent of expectancy, as if a silent sentinel watched their arrival. He exhaled slowly, steeling himself for whatever the High Council had sent him to discover. Earth's secret lay just beyond the horizon, and soon they would know why no one dared to attack. The golden grasses of the Great Plains rippled beneath a gentle breeze as the 5 Vorten skimmers formed a loose perimeter around their landing site. Admiral Thalkesh led the disembarkation, his obsidian armor clicking softly against the metal ramp. Lieutenant Erix and Magister Hayatal flanked him, while Dr. Sarah Voln brought up the rear, clutching her portable scanner like a protective talisman. Sensors confirm minimal human presence, Erix reported, sweeping his gaze. Across the horizon, rolling hills gave way to a distant cluster of low mountains, but there were no roads, no signs of settlement, only the endless dance of wind and grass. Voln knelt to examine the soil, her scanners alive with activity. The Gaian symbiosis is active here, she murmured. Plants and microbes exchanging data, an organic network beyond our theories. But there's more. Wildlife movement patterns suggest a coordinated response to us. Thalkesh raised a hand. Define coordinated. Voln tapped her console. Look. The hollow projection shimmered to life, displaying real-time tracks of various species, pronghorn herds converging, wolves fanning out in precise formation, even flocks of migratory birds circling overhead in tight arcs. It's as if every creature within 10 kilometers is communicating, acting on a unified directive. Before they could process her words, a distant roar shattered the calm. A massive bull elk thundered toward them, antlers lowered, hooves pounding the earth. Moments later, it was joined by a pack of timber wolves, their eyes glinting with uncanny intelligence. The Vorten warriors raised their non-lethal stunners, but Magister Hatatal held up a hand. Wait, he hissed. Observe their intent. The elk charged, but at the last second it veered off, horn-tip grazing the skimmer's flank with a resonant clang enough to jolt circuitry, yet leaving no lasting damage. The wolves followed suit, rushing in a coordinated shield formation around their horned comrade, then fanning out to herd the Vortens away from a nearby grove of ancient oaks. Lieutenant Erix unleashed a warning volley. silent, pulsed energy that corralled the animals but caused them no harm. Still, their eyes never left the human's bright, assessing, resolute. The lead wolf paused on a small rise, howled a single, mournful note that seemed to carry through the mind rather than the air. Dr. Voln exchanged a glance with Thalkesh. "They're protecting something," she said. "A focal point of the Gaian network. Possibly an energy nexus or vital habitat." Thalkesh's stance shifted from aggression to caution. "Hold position. We did not come to slaughter Earth's guardians." He gestured to Magister Ritzital, who stretched his hands toward the ground. Soft blue glyphs of quantum energy spiraled from his fingertips into the soil. The animals froze, their postures relaxing as the technomancer's empathic algorithm interfaced with their thought patterns. Across the clearing, hidden beneath the grass, a subtle pulse of bioluminescence began to glow. Roots of the oaks illuminated in neon green, tendrils weaving through the earth like rivers of light. The animals backed away, giving the skimmers and their crews a clear path toward the grove. As Thalkesh led his team between the oaks, Volm's scanner detected the source, a cavern mouth carved into the base of an ancient tree, its entrance framed by intertwining roots. "By the ancestors," she breathed. "This is the ingress to the Gaian synapse core." The air shimmered with latent energy. Every creature in the vicinity watched in silence. The elk grazing at the edge of the standoff, wolves seated like statues, birds perched on low branches. It was as if Earth itself had paused to witness this moment. Thalkesh raised his baton. "Proceed carefully, and stay ready." With hearts pounding, the Vorten pioneers stepped into the grove. But before any of them could cross the threshold into the cavern, a wave of soundless pressure rolled through the clearing like the exhale of a sleeping giant. Instruments faltered, and the bioluminescent glow intensified, casting dancing shadows on every face. Dr. Voln gripped Thalkesh's arm. "Remember our mission," she reminded him. "Observe, report, above all, survive." As they entered the darkness, the animals outside dispersed, fading into the grass as if they had never been. Above them, the forest closed in, and the world of the Gaian synapse beckoned with secrets that would change the fate of the Vorten hegemony forever. The cavern mouth yawned before them, roots twisting like living veins into the darkness. Magister Hansutal's lumen staff flared, casting pale violet light on slick walls of pulsing biocrystal. Every step echoed in the hush, as if the planet itself held its breath. Admiral Thalkesh led the way, senses straining. "Stay vigilant," he whispered. "Any misstep and we may trigger a defense we cannot overcome." Dr. Sira Voln trailed close, her portable scanner humming. "The Gaian synapse," she murmured, "is more than a neural network. It's a planetary brain. These crystals are its synapses, conducting biochemical signals stronger than any subspace transmitter." Lieutenant Orcs studied the holomap. On his wrist console, the suppression field detected in orbit? It originates here. Earth masks its presence to predatory fleets and perhaps to itself until an outside threat appears. They reached a chamber half full with crystalline stalagmites glowing in hues of emerald and sapphire. At its center lay a shallow pool of water, its surface perfectly still. Around it, faint ripples of energy coalesced like mist. From the walls, delicate tendrils of root and mycelium snaked toward the pool, forming an intricate lattice. Hansutal stepped forward and extended a hand. "Observe." With a chant in the arcane tongue of the technomancers, he wove quantum threads into the lattice. The stalagmites shivered, their lights pulsing faster. Voln watched in awe as the water's surface shifted into a living map rivers of light, tracing across the planet's continents, nodes of energy marking every thriving forest, every vibrant reef. And then she saw it, a circling halo around a tiny blue dot Earth itself. the Gaian core. She breathed. This is the heart that beats beneath every root and reef. A soft hum vibrated through the chamber. The glowing map fragmented, replaced by vision storms calmed before they ravaged coastlines. Volcanic fury stilled at the brink of eruption. Ancient forests regrew overnight, scarred earth healing with miraculous speed. The Gaian synapse was not merely reactive. It anticipated threats, marshaled life's defenses, and orchestrated planetary recovery. Suddenly, the vision sharpened, a cascade of crimson light flooding over the continents, swallowing forests, choking oceans, blackening skies. The synapse reacted with blinding intensity. Every stalagmite flared. The waters churned, and a surge of energy shot up the cavern, rattling rock and root. Thalkash staggered, his comm unit crackling with interference. Through the psychic feedback he heard a voice, not words, but a resonant tone that conveyed intent. Intruder, withdraw. Magister C. Chao raised his staff against the psychic tide, his robes billowing as he chanted faster. Hold steady, he urged. We must assimilate this data understand before we flee. Voln pressed her scanner to the ground. Real time. Metrics spiked biosignature harmonics off the charts, quantum coherence beyond Vorton calculi. She realized with dawning horror that the synapse could overload any unfriendly mind, rendering invaders catatonic or worse. A radiant column of light burst from the pool, enveloping the team in prismatic aura. Eric's dropped to one knee, his visor flashing warnings. Risk of neural collapse in 5, 4. Thalkash willed his psyche to steel. He reached out with his own latent empathic training, taught only to admirals for dire negotiations, and met the synapse's tone. The world around him steadied. Hunto's staff dimmed the psychic surge, and the chamber fell into an eerie calm. Breathing heavily, Thalkash straightened. Enough, he said. We've seen its power and its purpose. The synapse protects life at all costs. If we threaten Earth, it will unmake us. Voln nodded, her voice trembling with exhilaration and dread. This is why no armada has ever breached Earth. Not shields, not armies. This living planet itself is the greatest defense imaginable. Lieutenant Arix rose, adjusting his sensors. Recommendation: withdraw to orbit, compile findings, and inform the hegemony. We cannot conquer what defends itself with the will of every creature. Upon it, as they retraced their steps toward the cavern's mouth, the stalagmite's glow faded to a tranquil pulse, an invitation rather than a warning. The grove above awaited, as if Earth bid them leave in peace, armed now with knowledge powerful, enough to reshape interstellar relations forever. Aboard the dauntless Resolution, the bridge was alive with agitation. Admiral Thalkash stood before the holotable, its three-dimensional projection of Earth rotating slowly. His senior officers and scholars formed a semicircle. Lieutenant Erix's tactical overlay still flickered red around the planet's equatorial suppression field. Magister Hetzitau's technomantic sigils glowed faintly on his console. Dr. Voln's biometric charts hovered in midair, tracing the Gaian synapse's living network. The question that had haunted the hegemony for millennia now demanded an answer. What do we do with a world guarded by a living mind? General Kairan, commander of the flagship's battle group, broke the silence. Admiral, our scanners confirm that any offensive action will trigger a cascade. Every creature on Earth, from plankton to leviathan, will mobilize. And the synapse can extend its influence into subspace, potentially incapacitating our entire fleet. His three voices echoed in unison, each more urgent than the last. We cannot win. Dr. Voln stepped forward, eyes alight. We need not see this as defeat. The Gaian synapse has revealed itself not merely as a weapon, but as a steward of life. If the hegemony seeks to expand its reach among the stars, There is profound value in forging an alliance with a sentient planet, a living ally that embodies harmony across ecosystems. She tapped her console, and images of Earth's majesty flashed. Coral reefs regenerating, forests rewilding, deserts blooming. We can learn from this intelligence. Magister HFY nodded, weaving a delicate array of quantum runes. Our own worlds suffer imbalances, climate collapse, ecological ruin, societal fracture. The Gaian model could guide entire systems toward self-healing. But we must approach with respect, not conquest. He sealed the pattern, and the bridge dimmed as if in solemn reverence. Admiral Thalkesh considered their words. For centuries, the Vorten Empire had measured power by territory and tribute. Yet here sat a force that dwarfed armies and fleets, the living will of an entire planet. He raised his baton. By decree of the High Council, we shall withdraw. We will present Earth not as a prize of war, but as a peer to the Galactic Assembly. We will draft a charter of Gaian Accord, establishing terms of mutual respect, knowledge exchange, and non-interference unless invited. A wave of relief and something like pride swept through the assembled officers. Lieutenant Orcs smiled for the first time, his tactical overlays dissolving into star charts of uncharted horizons. Dr. Volm bowed her head, her heart racing at the thought of bridging species and worlds. Magister Siluman's sync sigils pulsed in quiet approval. As the dauntless resolution slipped into silent cloak and rose from Earth's orbit, the planet receded into a tapestry of blues and greens. Below, the forests whispered, oceans hummed, and even the winds seemed to carry a benediction. The Vortens would carry home a secret that would reshape the galaxy, power measured in unity, not domination, and an enduring truth. No one dares to attack Earth because Earth itself dares to live.